The ad campaigns referred to in the leaked ad training documents are Kent Cigarette's Good Time campaign and Hiram Walker Whiskey's Imp campaign. I was able to purchase the Imp ad on eBay that was used in the document. I also purchased the other ads in the Imp campaign. I was able to find several ads in the Kent Good Time ad campaign, but I've not found the two used in the document. It's very likely they're still out there, so please contact me if you have one. So first, I need to confirm that the subliminals mentioned in the ad document are actually in the real ad. This ad appeared in Sports Illustrated June 7th, 1976. In the actual ad, it's clear several of the subliminals are readily visible that are mentioned in the document. In this ad, from the same campaign, we have another woman whose eyes have been whitened and whose drink holds a subliminal penis. Not only is it a penis, but the top is also a side profile skull. Sex and death, that's just how they roll. Then we have a shark getting ready to eat a little guy, so we can assume something like this is expected to have a subconscious effect. We have the word sex airbrushed across the model's face, then typical sexes in the clothing. There's a less common FU written in her jacket. The illusion of this ad relies on the fact that the model is not grasping the handle of the glass. She is actually grasping something that lurks behind the glass. The object is not a shoulder, as your filter would have you believe. The flesh behind the glass has another meaning. The true meaning of this ad is that this wet female is raising a penis to her mouth. In this case, a strand of hair adds detail. But beyond this simply being a scene of fellatio, we also have several other subliminals. Another penis is located here, but this penis is okay because it's equipped with a smiley face. It's ridiculous because the smiley penis is very apparent once pointed out. There's a skull inside the fruit ring, a drowning face, and then another horror face. This ad I think of as the hippie version of the Imp ad. Well, not as overtly sexual, it has the word sex large and clear. We also have another smaller sex and a female figure. The overall impression I get is that the woman's fingers are spreading something. There were many ads in the Kent Good Time campaign. I have many of them on hand. We can confirm several aspects of the document. I purchased several of the ads, but there are many more that I have not examined. While I cannot replicate the sick, twisted narrative of the satanic couple, I've found many subliminal messages, so many that claiming coincidence can only be done by the willfully blind. In this Kent ad, we have another evil couple with similar sharp angles. Like the other ad, where the couple was jabbing each other with cigarettes, we have the woman's cigarette placed exactly on the man's hand. His hand grabbing a red arrow, or as these ad men might say, a red arrow pointing to hell. There's a devil face above her shoulder. And a sex. In this ad from 1970, in the middle of the Cold War, we have our evil couple dressed in the colors of the Soviet Union and Communist China. We also have gender reversal because the man has fluffy white golf club covers, while the female's clubs are wooden with a phallus below them. They said they had made the cigarettes more narrow so they would seem needle-like. In this ad, the cigarette the man is jabbing himself with is 20% more narrow than the female's cigarette. We have a sex airbrushed into the woman's face. Then we have a very small but clear sex. You may have also noticed the woman's ring resembles a skull. Here we have another couple in communist colors. The man's hand and leg positioned to look like genitals. This couple, contrary to the title, does not appear to be having a good time. The woman is huddled over a cup of coffee and looks like she's not enjoying the cold weather. We have some embedded sexes that are fairly visible. The best way to see these is to first lock onto the S, or sometimes obvious straight lines of the X, before attempting to see the whole word. Once you identify the shading of one letter, the others will become apparent. Why do they keep using red and yellow, when most Americans and Europeans in 1970 would immediately connect these to communism? Adding to this effect, is something that looks like a side profile of a gas mask. In case you are new to planet Earth and you do not believe these are the colors of our feared enemies of 1970, here's the Soviet flag and the Communist Chinese flag. Here's our devilish man in red. There are some faces airbrushed into his face, and then a sex is in his hair. In this ad, 3 short years after the Cuban Missile Crisis, we have the caption, "Brighten up your taste." But it might as well say, "Hey America, I'll put it out in your eye." Can't imagine looking at this ad and not seeing our red-clad minion of the evil empire putting it out in Little Miss Liberty's eye. Look at the look on her face. I can't even believe it. This is an actual ad and no one notices what the ad is showing? Did anyone complain? How can this be interpreted any other way? Oh, we just happened to line up Miss America's eye with the tip of Satan's cigarette. Even her visible eye is wincing in pain. The sharp angle of his hairline creates a horn. Another horn is created by a ray of sunlight. There is also a sex which is hard to see. An easy to see skull or devil in the bottom of his hair. Also notable is the position of the highlighted part of his hand, which could subconsciously be perceived as a penis. I bet this artist got a fat bonus. Sex and violence against a woman, a communist attack on America, and only Kent can save us from this satanic evil. I call this the Demented Girl ad. Perhaps her strange, squinty-eyed smile is directed down to the cigarettes lifting towards her skirt, which is most likely a metaphor for the intentions of the young man. We have 2 easy-to-see embedded sexes. How long will it take you to figure out what's wrong with this ad? How could it physically be possible for his pants to be poking forward past the fence posts? It's as if he had a third leg. Anyway, we have the fence post they're leaning on appearing to also be a giant cigarette coming out of the Kent pack. Here are 2 sexes. We could just do this all day. I'm just pointing out a few of the problems with a few of the ads. Two more sexes. Here we have the halo symbolism, which was used in Mad Men for the popsicle ad. Here is an example of its use in Catholic art. It should be noted that the halo is never in the Bible and was originally from the Greek depiction of the sun god Helios. This ad from 1967 was created closer to the ads in the document than any of the others I have. I know this because they transitioned the placement and look of the Kent box a few times, and this one's just like our ads from the document. Also, the graphic is full page. We have unkept grass, just as in the ad from the document, a man dressed in a sweater more warm than the female. Oh, and gee, they just happened to line up the bread and 2 oranges in front of his crotch. She's even looking down towards the bread penis. We have all types of stuff embedded in the grass, so if you have any publications from 1969, you may have some of the ads from the document. There is some subliminal smoke drawn in the grass. This Kent ad subliminal is widely known and reported on. The document talked about the male being weather sensitive. Wearing a sweater was an element that was used repeatedly. Jabbing with cigarettes? Devilish characters? Embedded devils and horror faces? Embedded words? In this ad, the shape and orientation of the man's head is very similar to the silhouette in the document. I only have a small portion of the Kent ads from this era, but I could go on and on with the subliminals in them and the connections with what is stated in the document. The imp ads followed the script even more closely, and more importantly, the ad in the document made it to market, and the subliminals in the document are readily visible in that ad. I called Lorillard Tobacco in an attempt to find out which ad agency handled the Good Time campaign.
Thank you for calling the Lorillard Tobacco Company. You may need a paper and pencil as you listen to this message. This call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes. If you have an inquiry or concern about the quality of a Lorillard tobacco product, please press 1. If you would like... Lorillard Constellations, thank you, please.
Hi, I was hoping someone could tell me what ad agency did the Kent Cigarettes Good Time ad campaign from 1965 to 1971.
I am not sure, so let me switch you to the operator to direct your call. 1 moment.
Hi, I was hoping someone could tell me what ad agency did the Kent Cigarettes Good Time ad campaign from 1965 to 1971.
Oh, sir, I don't have any idea, sir. Just a moment.
My signal was perfect. They simply hung up when my question made it past the secretaries. Is there a reason why they don't want to talk about the Good Time campaign? Is it because they know their secret was leaked? In a later call, they told me they had no idea who did the ads and no way to find out. Yeah, I wanted to know what ad agency did the Kent Good Times ad campaign during the late 1960s?
You must have the wrong number.
Is this Lorillard Tobacco?
Yes.
Who
are you trying to get in contact with?
I just asked the question and the secretary, I called your main customer service line.
Uh-huh.
And they transferred the call to you.
Okay. I don't know why they transferred it to me. Hold on just a second, okay? I'm going to get you a number.
Okay. All right.
This is Tina Wilkins.
Yeah, I wanted to know what ad agency did the Kent Good Times ad campaign during the late 1960s?
Gosh, sir, I would have no way of knowing that.
Really? Is there how about just like Kent's, what agency did Kent's advertising during the late 60s?
Yeah, I wouldn't know that either. And, we were owned by another company, and then they spun us off. And I don't know if they had other, I've only been here for 3 years myself. I don't know what agencies they've used throughout the years. I really wouldn't know what to tell you. I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can direct you to some information. There's a repository of tobacco documents on the internet, and I think it's called tobaccodocs.org.
The heavy use of subliminal techniques in these Kent ads from around 1970 show the incredible comeback from the problems in 1957. Vance Packard's Hidden Persuaders was the first problem, and the failure of the Edsel was the second. I had read several summaries of how Ford had an army of motivational researchers designing and marketing Ford's new line, such as in the book Freud on Madison Avenue. They said so much about the car being a failure, but the book never says anything specific that the MR people got wrong. I mentioned the Edsel failure to a car enthusiast. He told me that there was a fairly well-known reason it failed. So what was the reason for the biggest bomb in automotive history? Well, I was told people thought the front grille looked like a vagina. That was too good. It fits right in with what I observe, but I had to look it up. In this Time magazine article, it says, cultural critics speculated the car was a flop because the vertical grille looked like a vagina. And in the Wikipedia entry, some have speculated that the car's failure was because the grille resembled a vagina. Even if Ernest Dichter was right, and men see a car almost as a mistress, I'm sure the idea of a car actually having a metal vagina did not get their motor revving. I wonder though, did they ponder using Dichter's quoted line, "You just slip right in it"? We could have a cross-promotion with turtle wax. Maybe you think the naive people over 40 years ago might fall for this stuff, but this could not be done to us in the information age. But technology has advanced quickly. The people with the power and money have exponentially more tools to manipulate with. Meanwhile, the relative power of the middle class and common man has decreased. These tactics of manipulating perception are still used politically. Over and over, politicians are shown in news releases with the subliminal halo. Or even as Christ. While some of the old ads seem to be too ridiculous to be effective manipulators, a quick look at some banner ads shows that advertisers still see us as ignorant fools. I call this one Woman Lays an Egg. Wait, how do we stay asleep? So Bunny Rabbit will keep me asleep all night? Okay, so the most I can gather is if you're a woman, having a lesbian lover will help you sleep through the night. The reason I'm using this one is because the picture resembles what is called a death mask. Subconscious shopping, a new ploy. Their hypnotic shop will deploy an array of strategies to touch people's subconscious and make them buy. The installation will be a full sensory assault, using visuals, smells, and subliminal messaging to influence customers' purchasing patterns. Reading the consumer's mind. The pig and poultry industry needs to recognize the power of the consumer's unconscious mind if it is to get its marketing messages across effectively. It's not just about giving consumers all the facts, he said. Consumers were not rational in their behavior, and it was often the subliminal messages they received that would influence their shopping habits. Anything wrong with this? Sex posing? Don't think this is intentional? Then why don't you explain what Verizon is going to expose, considering the background is a shower? On this thumbnail picture for a news story, Reuters news service must have noticed the word behind the poster. The advertisers told Congress that they did not use subliminal messages because they did not work, but almost every study shows that they do work. UK Telegraph. Researchers found that briefly displaying words and images so quickly that people do not even consciously notice does nevertheless change their thinking. They found it particularly effective with negative images and words which could alter a person's mood. This is from a study from the Netherlands. Could anger make people want things more? Participants watched images of common objects such as a mug or pen appear on a computer screen. They were unaware that just before each object appeared, the screen quickly flashed either an angry, fearful, or neutral face. These subliminal images tied to an emotion to each object. The participants had to squeeze a hand grip to get an object they wanted, and those who squeezed the hardest were more likely to get it. The participants expended more effort to get objects associated with angry faces, the study found. More and more I see manipulative banners being used on news websites. Sometimes people say satanic subliminal messages don't make sense because they don't believe in God. But this is flawed logic because all that would matter is what the advertiser perceives the target audience believes. On this Venom CD we have an embedded 666. This Sting album also features a 666. On this, the 3 Gs also double as 6s. On this Judas Priest album cover, we have a shotgun held to a head, and the shot is exiting holes out the other side of his head, a clear message for suicide. Not only is this the forbidden fruit with the serpent inside, but the serpent's tongue is a vagina. The name of the band is a euphemism for a penis. I was already on to the Mark of the Beast parallels with Monster Energy. While I was researching, I found people familiar with Hebrew say that this logo is 666 in Hebrew. This is reinforced by the tagline, "Unleash the Beast." The O is also obviously a cross, Some of their promotional material features people making the devil hand sign. I also will add that the term beast is often used to refer to animals. Many large animals scratch into trees with their horns or claws to mark territory, such as bears and wildcats. This would look similar to the monster logo. So on several levels, this fits as symbolism for the mark of the beast. On the Monster Chaos can, we have the occultic symbol for the zodiac, which is a circle with a cross through it, which was also adapted by the corrupted Christian denominations. The Antichrist is referred to as the lawless one, which would result in chaos. Of course, they use normal tactics as well. Moving forward from here, we know technology will continue to play a greater role in our lives. I've already seen subliminals placed in Android apps. It's going to be hard to avoid letting the devices we now use to empower ourselves from becoming tools of our enslavement. I'm not going to tell you this is the greatest threat to mankind and then try and sell you a book about it. What I cover is one aspect of subliminal manipulation, but most likely other forms of this are also actively being used, such as audio subliminals, or maybe things we just know nothing about. But subliminal manipulation is just one aspect of the control structure. The system that manages us has many aspects, too many to list. I think getting this message out is extremely important. I've seen it so many times. Show someone a subliminal message on something. At first they're excited, they see it. But give it 5 seconds and the smile fades away. They realize they have been deceived. It's painful when the fantasy image breaks apart. How much of my life was wasted chasing the fantasy? Is the world really this cold, with the general public being used as pawns in a game? But now, with this knowledge, we have a great tool. Unlike so many other secrets of the elite, this is one that can be seen and proven with our own eyes. I've shown hundreds of people subliminal messages one-on-one in the real world. And since I can easily find fairly visible subliminals, every single person who looked saw what I pointed out. It's actually more difficult on a video. Once a person realizes they've been deceived and they see it with their own eyes, they are faced with a choice. Will they repress what they have seen, convince themselves it was a coincidence, and never look further into it? Or worse, attack with half-truths from Psych 101 or by setting up straw men? Or will they look at the facts, do the research, and contemplate what this means for their worldview? Once you understand how widespread the use of subliminal messages are, you must also realize that the great men of power in this world have deceived you, and deceived the masses. Mass manipulation is a necessity to become a high-ranking politician or wealthy business person. If we do not get this information out to the public at large, these tactics will continue to be used by the elites to mold their vision for the world. Don't think their vision of the world is too bad? Well, we can argue that in another video. But look at the tactics used to sell cigarettes, which many people think are lethal. They're always squawking about overpopulation. Maybe they'll convince us to use a product that kills us faster, or just send all our kids off to war. Tell someone about subliminal messages, then refer them to my videos. Put them on your Facebook page. If you call into radio shows, do podcasts or blogging, tell people. A highly motivated minority can overthrow tyranny. We need to get this information out now in our window of opportunity before the ability to present the information is removed. This movie will be available on DVD on my website.